UPT, like second floor.
Yeah.
Oh,
We are
nice, yeah.
recording.
And karaoke night and singer NOBC
We will
song.
also be hosting your nights.
We did use our Evo at second floor UPT once for one of our public hearings, and yeah, probably our only comment ever on public hearing recording, said that this recording is miserable or something.
All right.
Something to look forward to.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
We're trying our best here, guys.
Yeah, we're trying to do a little better than miserable. We'll let you know how it goes.
It's just sad is fine. It's sad.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know how it goes. When are they? When are your
They're
meetings?
gonna start in late June.
For what?
The Municipal Complex Advisory Committee, it's the
Oh.
advisory committee that's supposed to meet to start thinking about new city hall.
Is it gonna be in the evenings?
No, they're gonna be, afternoon during the workday. But the schedule is gonna be public and anybody that wants to come can come.
Awesome.
Okay.
Okay, well, we'll go ahead and get started. It's Wednesday, May 27th. We are here today with New Orleans Building Corporation, who will run through their hearing capital budget hearing requests. My name is Laura Bryan, City Planning Commission.
Cameron Boissier, City Planning Commission.
Larry Massey, City Plan.
Kyle Holman, capital budget.
Jacob Rowland, Director of Operations for NOBC.
Annie McBride, CEO for NOBC.
Great, and if y'all can walk us through the requests.
Yeah, so we've got 9 requests this year. We've added 2 from our prior year submission. We've put the newest 2 as the bottom 2 priority in the deal. The first few, or the top 6 priorities all deal with Union Pasture Terminal, which is just an ongoing, deal. And we've given a little bit of that background of, some of our projects on page 3 of this attachment and the PowerPoint I sent you guys earlier. But just kind of a rolling timeline of, the different projects we've carried out there, including 2 this year that we're doing to wrap up some parking upgrades, adding some ADA spaces, and then we're putting another out on the street next month to remove some obsolete cabling over the canopy, the train canopies in the back. So the capital request 1 is in conjunction with a Federal Railroad Administration grant that we applied for. This is for the developmental design stage only of a large project to upgrade basically replace all the canopies and platforms for the new service. We have that Mardi Gras service that's, I'm sure you hear, is just killing it over there. We've got to catch the canopies up. The canopies are even with asbestos, they're not ADA compliant. So this is, the first capital request is for the developmental stage and design only for that project. Request 2 is for the bus.
Before you go.
Sure.
Like, is there, is this like, gonna be paid through the grant? Is there funding from NOBC? Is there an ask for bonds?
Yeah, this is a bond ask that is a share, there's a match, there's a cost match with the Railroad Administration grant, so this is for the share.
Thank you.
So request 2 is also at UPT, it deals with the bus canopies. There's 6 train canopies, then there's the bus canopies that are in an adjacent section of the facility. Kind of the same idea. Those are, with asbestos in the canopies. There's lead-based paint. They just basically need to be completely overhauled. And that's, those are in use every day. Request 3 is we're looking to procure an architect to master plan the facility. As you know, we've got retail spaces. We need a plan to kind of modernize and abate environmental conditions in there. And we need to, get it modernized for, modern transit standards. So request 3 is to procure an architect and design team to deliver us that master plan. You can probably recognize a few of these. I know even when I was at Capital, we were asking for a lot of these. So this is another one, the automatic switch gear. Again, this is something that we pay for, but Entergy maintains. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, it's zips over that switch gear. We get a power flash at the building, reduced downtime. So really sorely needed. And the project, these things only increase in cost as we get further away from
There-
can you remind me there's like an installation, Entergy will do the installation if you pay for the equipment, or what is it?
Yeah, that's what we're asking for, and I've
Okay.
escalated it, these are estimates, that I've escalated, each year. I think we've escalated it another 4%, I think, Miguel, was that right, this year? Was
I
that-
think we did,
Yeah.
we've done between 3 and 5,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
depending on the
So,
type of,
but Entergy maintains it, and yeah, we just straight pay for it, contract, and they come in and do it.
Have there been any, like, discussions with Austin about hazard mitigation opportunities or other FEMA programs?
Not that I've been a part of.
Okay. Just
I
cause they're
can-
looking at,
I can
you
follow
know,
up on that.
brick,
Okay.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, brick and, HMGP, so
Yeah,
that
okay.
if there's a way to, reduce or increase redundancies and stuff like that.
Absolutely, yeah, leverage some of those other dollars. So capital request 5 kind of ties hand in hand with the master plan, but it's just basically to upgrade, the mechanical systems, get them modernized, and, finally abate all that asbestos we've got up there. So the master plan will kind of give us a plan forward. This is kind of the actual construction work, estimate that we have.
Can I ask you a question about the asbestos
Mhm.
on the second floor? I know this has been hanging around for a long time.
Mhm.
The second floor gets limited use, at least in the meeting space. Is the asbestos, is it encapsulated? Is there, like, because people do use this, right?
Right, it's kind of like what we think is in City Hall. I mean, if it's untouched and undisturbed, I mean, it's
Technically,
safe.
yeah.
I mean, once you start opening up walls, I mean, to do any
Right.
sort of construction, that's when we get into kind of,
Yep.
to tag bag, take it out to, the special
Yep.
disposal. So it's, there's no open or damaged spaces that need emergency or safety work, but, I mean, if any upgrades that we get into doing on the second floor, that's gonna have to be a part of it.
And of course, if you're leasing it, you're.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
clean and
Yeah,
prepared.
so it's kind of like with the train canopy, train canopies, they're, it's a gravel roof on those, and it's contained, but,
Right.
once we start breaking those things up, or having to do any kind of construction on them, gotta mitigate the,
is there any Brownsfield funding that could be available in the future if we could identify various sites? Because I do hear from different facilities that have environmental scopes that are pretty defined, and it could be something that could be done on a citywide, if it could be planned properly. I don't know if that's possible. but-
It is possible, and we're looking at currently a few different funding opportunities for the upcoming cycle in the fall. For assessment, cleanup, those types of things, so it is quite possible. It's just a matter of, winning the award, but packaging it up for it to have like a nice complete.
And making sure we compile a list of facilities that have needs, so we can
Exactly.
kind of, determine what opportunities are in order to expand the
and
opportunity.
coordinate across departments.
Right,
Yeah.
right, so, I can chat with Carrie, our Brownfields director, about if she has anything that's more short-term, that might be able to, like, get this started, but I'm not aware of anything that's currently available. so.
NOMA has an asbestos situation too, that is very limited in scope, but it's usually the asbestos is its own thing that kind of prevents other progress, because you have to kind of deal with it specifically, and you never quite know what the range of costs could be. So, in general,
Right.
yeah.
We did use the Brownfield program to do the environmental assessment on the building, and
Okay.
that work is completed. So we did get an ESA that was
Okay.
completed last year at some point.
Good.
on
Do
the
you
train
recall
station.
if that was, a two, like,
I think we did go through phase 2. I need to confirm, but I believe we did. We had a phase 1 and 2.
So moving on to request 6, this is the implementation, construction stage of the canopy renovation that we discussed in task 1. It's quite sizable project. And again, it brings them up to ADA standards, the platforms, it completely renovates the canopies themselves, mitigates the asbestos, really, sorely needed modernization.
Can I quickly jump back. I wanna look at the number for number one, project one. And, you had asked the question whether this was the match amount or the full amount. I do believe, just looking at the number, this is the full amount
Yeah.
of the request. It's not the match. This would assume that we don't get the grant. And this would be the cost of the project that we've estimated, assuming we don't get the grant. As I recall, last year we asked specifically for the match. And there was an issue with that, so we just went ahead and put in for the full project cost,
Yeah, that's
How
correct.
much would the grant cover, like 80%?
80%. Yeah,
80-20.
yeah, federal is 80, and then we have committed to the 10% of this $3.1 million number, and Amtrak's committed to share that with us. So 10% from NOVC, 10% from Amtrak, should we get the grant. But that is a full.
Yeah, that is a full ask, my apologies for the confusion, I noticed it when I saw the 32 million on the, on
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
six here, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, so that is the full ask, assuming we don't get the grant.
Do you know when you're expected to hear back for the grant?
And, we submitted it, early February, I think the first week of February is when we submitted it, so, I don't really have a good feel for when we would hear something.
Fall, I would imagine fall.
Can you explain to me how this works with the other grant? So the FRA gave a State of Good Repair grant, 5 million around for this project. And I believe, if I understand correctly, the project was somewhat abandoned, if that's the case, because the cost had increased so extensively. Could you just kind of like walk through that
Mhm.
history?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so in 2017, we did get a State of Good Repair grant that included some overlap with what we've reapplied for. It was a bit of a different scope. That scope really focused on platform height and adjusting platform height to accommodate different rail equipment that comes in and out for ADA purposes. That need was sort of done away with when the Amtrak went in and actually raised the height of the tracks. So they elevated the height of the tracks, which meant we didn't need to raise the platform height anymore or adjust the platform height. And so, for two reasons: number one, scope change, and number two, the grant really, the project was now upside down in terms of 80-20, like the cost had ballooned to such a degree that the federal match was more like 20% of project cost. We withdrew our application for that, and that withdrawal was, and if I'm using improper terminology, I apologize, but it's the best I can describe it is we withdrew, and the FRA accepted that withdrawal, and it allowed us to have a clean slate and apply for this new grant opportunity. So that old grant is no longer on the table.
Okay, and so the FRA has been working closely with you all on the new grant, which is the project number one would be the match for, but then this is the full project scope if it's not awarded, or did I understand that incorrectly?
Yeah, I misspoke, so ask number one is for the design phase.
It's just design.
That's right, that's right.
Okay.
And so it is, the 3.12 million is the full ask that we've estimated for the design phase. And then the request number 6 is for the construction and closeout phase, includes
Okay.
contingency.
And then both project one and project 6 are what's been applied for to the
That's right.
FRA.
We just applied for the design phase. We
Okay.
only applied, we didn't apply for construction in the FRA grant that we just.
That's right, we
submitted.
listed it all, yeah, sorry, my numbers, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
so project one, that scope that's included in project one is the scope we applied for the most recent FRA grant.
Okay.
Does that
Yeah.
clear that up?
Mhm.
We had to estimate the total project
That's right.
cost in connection with that application, and that's what's reflected in project 6. That is the total cost to actually implement the design that results from project 1.
And this is just the train canopies, not the bus canopies.
That's right.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, ask 2 is the bus canopies, but that's not included in the FRA grant,
Okay,
only the train canopy.
Cause it's not rail, you know, I think that there's a bit of a delineation there. It's a bus, service, it's not rail, and so I don't think it can be covered.
yeah, it would have to be like an FTA, state of good repair or something, right? But you could work with RTA, maybe,
Yeah, or Greyhound, you know, we
yeah.
house Greyhound out of that,
Oh, that's great
Facility.
now.
and it's a less expansive, it's a lot less area,
Yeah.
it's smaller.
Yeah, it's much
Yeah.
smaller, a lot of the same issues, but much smaller, and you don't have the same requirements, for your
Okay.
customers.
Thank you for that, I appreciate it.
So moving on to request 7, this is the, new municipal complex, project. We're all well aware of the issues facing, City Hall that we, work in. The mayor has, moved forward with an executive order to set up a advisory committee on, exploring options. So this is our latest and greatest estimate for a new building.
And it's just for City Hall.
That's right, this is
Yes.
old language I need to
Yeah,
remove.
it's just City Hall, so.
That's right, this number is just for our City Hall and not inclusive of the CDC building.
Would that be impacted by the consolidation of the state?
The court cost, so like Jacob was saying, the 349 million is just our estimate for the City Hall. So I think that there is gonna be some impact to space needs at the court level, pending what the outcome of the legislation is. But that's not really factored into this ask, because our ask isn't related to the court building. And, you know, I think, there is definitely gonna be there's some moving parts to watch there for the courts.
Yeah. Have you explored other options than just, basically moving everybody into one city hall?
We've looked, yeah, the options on the table are, there's new construction, there's renovation, and then there are other office towers around that could potentially work as, a new space, so there's all those considerations on the table. The issue is that, the cost isn't, to retrofit an old, 50-year-old building for a new city hall, we don't find that it's gonna be, this will be for the advisory committee to determine, but, the cost remains in the ballpark. But no, I don't think consideration of satelliting, different departments is really good on the table. This is just for a new construction, build, the closest estimate we can get, escalated off of years of estimate, prior years estimates.
Is there a desire, by the courts or, the city in general to like co-locate with the civil district court?
My understanding is the courts, yes.
Yeah, I think one of the ideas so the committee that we were talking about before the meeting started, that's gonna be meeting at UPT, is gonna be considering all of these options. Like Jacob said, they're considering building a campus that includes the court and the new, City Hall building on Duncan Plaza. They're gonna be considering, could we house the administrative functions in an office tower nearby and build new on the existing footprint for ceremonial, like courthouses and council chamber? Could we just move everything to an office building? Could we retrofit the existing buildings? The city's got an obligation under law to provide a courthouse, and so they're being considered in connection with this overall project because they need a new facility too. So the committee's gonna look at both.
But the adjacency to City Hall is not totally necessary, it's just because they also need a new building that they might be considered.
I think in some ways an adjacency to City Hall is good. You've got people that come down to downtown, to this current municipal complex, that are looking for public records. And they can look for them across the street, and if they can't find what they're looking for there, they can come over to Real Estate and Records. And it does provide an opportunity for people to have a one-stop shop, because the clerk's office is there, and we're close by here. And I think having those, those adjacencies makes it easier on the public to conduct their business. And it's what people are used to. So, you know, I do think that there's some value to having some adjacencies. There's also, you know, economies of scale when you're doing two large scale construction projects. You can benefit from the fact that you're not doing one, waiting a couple years and then doing another somewhere.
Right, so it goes down.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, you're gonna have a planning analysis and then you're gonna have a funding analysis, and you see where things line up and that's going on in the current political world of what is, you know, able to be considered. All those things kind of have to align in order for an answer to be provided. So it gets so complicated in planning it because all of the above could happen.
Oh, yeah, yeah, no, I
It
know,
is,
I know. And I hope I'm not sounding like I'm trying to pin anyone down on a decision or anything. I am just kind of curious, about that, because it seems like it might be easier to find a building for the civil district court than like a new city hall, right? You know, like an existing building that might be renovated that the city owns or something like that, but, anyway, so it's just random thoughts, I guess.
Yeah.
So can you remind us about the meetings? It'll start in June.
Yep.
It's the Municipal Planning Advisory Committee, is that right?
Municipal Complex Advisory Committee is the MCAC is the acronym.
Okay.
And it is a committee that's appointed by 5 appointees, are mayor appointments. The 5 district council members have an appointment, and then the Judicial Building Commission has an appointment. So it's an 11-member committee that's going to review the options that we just discussed.
Okay,
Over the course of 8 or so meetings, public meetings.
okay.
And the ultimate work product is going to be a report with recommendations for mayor and council's consideration.
Okay,
Do you know if
Thank
they'll be
you.
live streamed?
Our goal is to live stream the meeting. And so we'll have, you know, we're gonna try to have an owl. We've consulted with Trepwise to help us facilitate the meetings. So we have every intent to live stream the meetings, technology God's willing.
but the meeting agenda and information about the meeting will be posted somewhere on your website?
Well, we are also working with IT to create a landing page specifically for this committee, like what the council has with like a meeting calendar where you can pull agendas, you can pull old meetings, you can click in and be connected to live stream when the meetings are in place. Very similar to what like city council or city planning commission does on its website.
It's on the wheels in motion, and it'll all come together
Okay,
kind of
awesome.
quick, yeah.
Well,
have,
if
like,
you will
the-
let us know, we can send it out on to our group as well.
Great, yeah, that'd be
The
great.
listserv and social media, so people are aware.
So if there are no other questions, moving on to request 8 is our first new request, from last year. It's a total of $4.6 million, including design phases and construction phases of kind of a envelope, rehab of the DH Homes, parking garage building. There's Deanie's on the corner, there at Iberville and Delphine, and so above that is a parking structure, 6-story parking garage. It's got some failing plaster. You can see in the pictures, there's cracks down down the wall. A lot of water intrusion getting into the building. We need to kind of research and find how that's getting in. But we're assuming behind wall of any kind of brick. We need to kind of tuck and repoint brick. All sealants, joints, penetrations, transitions. There's some concrete that's falling and kind of exposing some old rebar in the garage. We need to do a structural assessment and do some concrete repairs and patching on the garage as well. So just kind of a maintenance project to kind of really get that thing back to 100%.
Does this parking garage bring in enough revenue for it to pay for that itself?
The parking garage does bring in revenue, regardless of whether, so in other words, for us to fund it with our own capital reserve, is that
Is
correct?
that the revenue, revenue from this goes into your NODC budget then?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah,
so-
we do, but, you know, money's fungible, and if we can get some assistance in terms of capital dollars, this isn't one of our obligations under the lease to provide, to handle the structural repairs to the exterior of the building. And so this would fall to us, and we're seeing if we can get some assistance from the city on capital dollars to do this. I wouldn't say that the revenue generates enough money on an annual basis to cover a $4.6 million project, no.
Okay, yeah, it was just something from like, you know, Audubon and French Market and the airport, they all have different revenues that they generate, and so just ask them kind of like which, you know, how those resources can also go towards some of this as well.
And I'll also say that recently, we've contributed much of our reserve to the city to help with the budget crisis.
Yeah, I mean, the intent, right, I mean, these revenues kind of match and are used for upkeep of the building, but there's, the scale is different, of what you receive and what's needed. It's, yeah. So kind of in the same bucket, we have Piazza d'Italia, in need of a refresh. We just repaired a broken plumbing line, there, that NBCU, you know, pay for, but we really need a project that, kind of repoints and revises how those water nozzles are hitting the structure. We're basically causing a damage to our own structure. I mean, it's water, right? So it's, you know, it's tough to manage in general, but there's falling plaster there, there's some cracked tiles, there's a lot of discoloration. And so, this is again, the 1.68 million to kind of, engage an architect, to design and future-proof that facility, and as well as the construction.
Is this site open?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Like, do you generate revenue from it? A little bit, yeah.
We share with the Lowe's on, event rentals, but it's certainly not enough to cover a 1.6.
Yeah, it's not activated, but, and it just comes with daily, you know, fixing the clock was an ongoing months-long ordeal that, you know, just it's thousands of dollars, and so these, you know, these sort of maintenance things that we share in with Lowe's, you know, kind of, that's what eats those revenues, but when you get into these major projects, you know.
And I know I'm preaching to the choir, but in case someone doesn't know, this structure is actually historically significant. When you look at architectural history books under postmodernism, this is literally one of the examples that is often cited as
Like the Burbank.
basically a consolidation of everything that had to do with that movement.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see that you've sort of identified, hopefully restoring some of the
Yeah.
historical qualities to it. The paint schematics have been changed over years. It doesn't have the same impact, and it doesn't have the neon. So I don't know if there's a way to kind of pitch it to kind of a reevaluation from a public love point of view, but this is really an important, you know.
And as there's so
part
much
of the
foot
city.
traffic on Poitras, I mean, when I go do my sidewalks over there and document, I mean, there's people there all the time. I mean, people love that space. When you tell someone that you've got like a Italian-American Cultural Center and you have this, this facility that's kind of dedicated to, Italians in New Orleans, and they show, I mean, it needs to pop, it needs to look good.
Yeah.
And we had those issues with the water, that was on social media last year, and we immediately, you know, moved, it was embarrassing, you know, we immediately moved to keep that, you know, something that was.
I mean, this is like the ultimate splash pad, you know, we're ignored is like
Yeah.
building splash pads
Yeah.
because it's often such a better alternative in terms of cost from pools that are so difficult to get into production, but this is kind of like, you know, an original splash pad.
So like,
Technically not supposed to get in it.
Well,
I'm
maybe
not-
that should be a
They
consideration,
really want to
right?
use it, you know,
People do.
I wanna see it get used.
so years ago, didn't the city try to do a redevelopment effort? Was that of the parking lot then that they were trying to, the city owns, or what was that?
So there were two different efforts. One was an effort to try to redevelop the parking lot into a hotel. That did not pan out.
Wasn't it the Hard Rock too?
I don't think it was a Hard Rock. Maybe it was a Hard Rock. I don't remember what the concept was. But it did not bear fruit. Separately, there was a capital project, maybe almost 10 years ago,
Yeah, it was close to 10 years ago with Tuna, I believe, construction.
that did some work here.
I think generally Liz was
Yeah, it basically stabilized. It didn't, you know, quite restore, it was probably,
I think
stabilizing what was able to be stabilized under the.
I really want to get into a deeper design on how the nozzles work, how make sure maintenance is easier, the pressure, where it's hitting, and the surfaces it's hitting, the surfaces it's falling. You know, there really needs to be an analysis on that to make sure that everything travels correctly and it doesn't degrade the surfaces. That's really what we're looking for in the future for sure. I mean, it's fighting a losing battle because it's just water. So that project with Tuna a few years ago kind of just refreshed what's there. Didn't really give it a kind of a holistic kind of look at it.
Okay,
Yeah, so I think in sum, we'd really appreciate y'all, the due consideration given to our requests. We thank you for your time and giving us the opportunity to present our project list. And thank you, Jacob, and thank you, Miguel.
thank you guys.
And good luck with the owl. We look forward to watching, viewing, and hearing the results.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're gonna be watching the meeting like, oh, they're crashing and burning.
Yeah.
There's no sound.
We'll let y'all know, and I appreciate y'all's offer to push those notices out. We'll certainly send you guys the link and let you guys know, and Miguel
Be a lot of
as well.
interest.
Yeah,
At least within our team, we would be very.
Yeah.
I hope that
I'm
there's.
sure you're gonna have a lot of people in this building very interested in what's happening.
They did our consultant did some focus groups with people from City Hall, and there were a lot of strong feelings about building
Yeah.
addition. Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Okay, let me get some of these up. I think this is the wrong.
Those are mine,
name
yes,
up
thank
here,
you.
so I apologize, appreciate it.
All right, y'all have a good rest of
Thanks,
your
y'all.
day.
See you next
Thank you
time.
guys.
No, because that money is just to do new stuff, buy stuff, maybe stuff. They don't have a
Strategic.
budget.
Yeah, just do a little window.
I'm gonna grab them.
Because they keep on coming back to us, so like, can you like, do this, or is like, buy major repairs, you know, installation?
If you could just sign the sign-in sheet, and there should be some copies here for you. You can take a seat. I'm Laura.
Well,
Yeah,
nice to meet you,
Rob.
Laura.
Hi, how are you?
Can you help us? And I was like,
Yeah, I know I have a
Someone
wrong
else is showing
contact
for
of
money
everything,
too,
so.
so like, go. Yeah, but they do get.
So we are recording, we are gonna post it on our website, by the end of this week, but it won't be live, just so you all are aware.
Okay.
Yeah. And what we'll do is just a round of introductions, and you can just walk us through your requests.
Good to see you. Know your face?
All right,
We rolling it fast?
we, oh yeah, I guess, should we wait 2 minutes? I think we're fine, it's not live.
We had some poster boards that we were gonna bring, and then it was rushing. We left them, so we're gonna do it without the photograph that y'all seen for the last 5
You
years.
can send us, images, and we can put them up as supplemental
Okay,
materials if you'd
good,
like.
sure, we'll do
Yeah,
that.
include them.
We'll do that.
So we'll do a round of introductions and then you guys can just walk us through. I'm Laura Bryan, City Planning Commission. It's Wednesday, May 27th, and this is the capital budget hearing request for Criminal District Court.
I'm Cameron Garcia, City Planning Commission.
Larry Massey, I'm the Deputy Director, City Planning Commission.
Kyle Holman for capital budget.
Justin Weinberg, Capital Projects Project Manager.
Deputy Chief Judge Kenya Holmes, Criminal District Court.
Chief Judge Juan Marie Lombard, Criminal District Court.
And Rob Kasich, Judicial Administrator, Criminal District Court.
So you can just walk through the requests and the funding asks,
Okay.
however is best for you all.
How engaged do you want us to get? Do you want us to go through the whole summary like we did in the past years, or just, we have like a little prepared script? I know you've heard it 1,000 times, but we are prepared to go through it if y'all have the time.
We have the time.
Okay. Our request number one is for the building fire alarm replacement. The fire alarm was installed, it's 30 years old. It's not actively, it is actively working. It just doesn't identify to the right location, so it hasn't been upgraded since it was installed. So we're seeking to get proposals from qualified firms to provide for the replacement or upgrades of our current system. There are currently 2 control panels in place for representatives to report. One's at the first floor, main entrance of the building. The second is located in the engine room that the mechanical engineers have access to as well. The controls on both of the units are malfunctioning and the locations are mislabeled due to relocation of the courtrooms. So every time we have a new judge comes in, it kind of is based, the locations are based on seniority levels, so it gives another judge an opportunity to advance to a newer, larger courtroom. So every time we do that, when the system was identified originally, it was identified to magistrate court instead of courtroom 1. So as we move, it's still, you have to have the institutional knowledge to know that section B is not there anymore. It's been moved 4 times and now it's section D. So you just have to have some institutional knowledge to direct the fire department when they get there, where they're heading. So it does cause a bit of a safety issue. The project will provide a safer environment for emergency responders to pinpoint the exact location of an event, as well as for the general public, court personnel, jurors, and witnesses who all access the courthouse in an unlikely event of an emergency. Do you want to get into the cost of these projects, or does the report speak for itself? You want me to reference?
Yeah, I think you should, if you
Okay.
can, just I would mention where the cost came
Okay.
from.
So Justin Weinberger is our project manager who assists us with this. What we did on most of the projects, was it 4% increase we did over last year?
It's an average of 4% inflation that we've added to these previous projects.
Right, so the project amount that we have listed here is with the increase, so it's $2,160,000 is the estimated cost of this project. Do y'all want to reserve the questions or as we go through, or did you want to wait till the end? We'll just go through that.
I think you can keep going.
Okay.
We'll stop you if we have
You
any
got it.
specific questions.
The second project is ranked number 2, is our replacement of the building's HVAC system. The court is requesting to seek proposals from qualified firms to provide for the replacement and upgrades of all of our HVAC systems throughout the courthouse, including all 13 courtrooms and judicial offices, ancillary offices, all clerk of court offices and departments, the jury lounge, the administration, and multiple sheriff's office located throughout the courthouse. The estimated cost to replace the chillers, the cooling towers, the split system, and ductwork, estimated total is 150 tons per chiller unit with 2 separate chiller systems, along with multiple split units equaling another 150 tons for a total of 450 tons of HVAC. The project will provide a healthy environment for the general public, court personnel, jurors, witnesses, and all who access the courthouse. Just last year alone, we had 6 courtrooms that were, the chillers went out. Judge Holmes was one of them. She was out for
18 months.
yeah, 18 months before the system was replaced. in parts, her courtroom was out for a long period of time, then her chambers, which was on a separate unit, was out for an even longer period of time. So the city did come and put some temporary systems in place. However, those temporary systems are
Loud.
portable, they're loud, so every time we got the system cool, if she had a witness on the stand, we had to turn the units off so the jurors and the court reporter could hear the testimony that was going before. So we're just trying to not piecemeal through a system in New Orleans with no air conditioning system. So we're looking at the big project, which is estimated at right under $5 million.
Can I- Also, other than the fact that it got up until 91, 92 degrees in my court for an extended period of time, when we had trials, I think the year that started, I had 31 jury trials. And the following year I had 35, so it was almost impossible for them to listen. It creates a safety issue because the chillers that they have piping that has to go throughout and be drained somewhere. So it would literally go through the jury box, into the jury lounge, around the corner, and into the restroom there. So the jurors would have to be careful when walking out of the jury room, walking to the jury box, because we've had people trip on it multiple times. So it's a huge safety concern as well.
And it wasn't just electrical hoses, there was like water hoses.
Correct, there was a water to
Yeah, so we
drain
had,
from the units.
in addition to those hoses, we had the electrical plugs taped to the floor. The third project request is the courthouse security perimeter fencing. This fence structure would completely surround the building and would provide access points at the 3 main pedestrian entrances and the 2 vehicular access points. All access points would be equipped with proximity cards, readers tied to a central security system. The fence would be composed of piling support grade beams, a concrete base wall 4 inches high, and columns 10 feet on the center. An 8-foot fence of solid steel pickets with spear tips and punch stabilization bars. 2 small gatehouses with plank be built at the Tulane Avenue entrance. The goal is, the purpose of the perimeter fencing is to move the weapons search process to the building perimeter. So what we're doing now is, you don't get searched until you get into the building, similar to City Hall. Unfortunately, you know, we're dealing with high-end cases, gang cases, disputes among family members, and it causes quite a hassle. So if the building's being compromised with a weapon, it doesn't happen until it's inside the courthouse. So we wanted to do it like they do in Washington and other courthouses, where it's done outside the courthouse, not inside the courthouse. That project has an estimated cost of $2.5 million.
One quick question on that is that we allocated the money to design in 28 and then 2029 to build this. We requested last year to, I think we had to move the monies to 27 to 28. Can I make these adjustments on Questica? I think the only project, Rob, that we were foreseeing was item number 7, which is the roof replacement, where we said let's design in 28 and build in 29 for the roof. So I'll make the adjustments for item 3.
I'll have to demote it back to you, and then you can promote it, and then because it has to start from the beginning, or else it loses that change. So I'll write notes. That's the fencing. Security
Fencing,
perimeter. Okay.
which, yes, that one in number 4.
And the grand hallway?
Correct. Sorry, Rob. Yep.
You want me to go with the grand hallway?
I'm sorry?
You want me to present on the grand hallway?
Grand hallway, yes, I
Yeah.
think we're good on security.
Can I just ask,
Sure.
so the first amount of funding, the 250,000 for the security, that's just like design or engineering or something of it, and then the construction is the 2.3?
Correct.
Okay, and this would be an exterior perimeter fence around the whole property?
Mhm.
And what, do you have a sense of what it'll look like, or I guess? I don't know
Like the
what
Supreme
design?
Court, if you're familiar with the Supreme Court on Royal Street, it's a fencing that goes all the way to the sidewalk.
Okay. Okay,
similar to the Supreme Court's fencing.
Okay,
It's a substantial fence.
Yeah,
okay,
and just to give you, I mean, we can just jump in now, we can give you an update on the current project right now. I've talked about this the last several years. The FEMA, hardening building, it's called the Wind Retrofit Project, is moving along. We're thrilled, I think the judges can vouch for that as well. It's a major interruption to our operations, I can't tell you, I mean, you know, this is we're turning 100 years old in 2 more years, I believe. And it's so, I'm so proud every time I drive past this building, how amazing it looks. If you get an opportunity to drive by or come back and see the work, it's a $6 million project,
It's a $10 million
$10 million.
window replacement.
It's what, yeah, it's our money and their money combined, that's the two. It's
It's
a
a
$6 million FEMA, and then we had to come up with the 4,
It's a 75-25.
75-25. It's huge, I can't tell you how great the building looks. I mean, every 285 windows have been replaced, the bronze doors, the pressure washing of the building, they're getting ready to do what you call it, treatment, the waterproofing on the outside.
Yes.
The steps look amazing, the bronze doors have been polished, and I'm kinda hoping that we can move this along so we can get the building photographed before they start going back to their natural patina, which I understand that they're gonna tarnish again, but I'm hoping we can get it commemorate, you know, get it finalized with a photograph before it happens. But the building looks great, we can't thank Justin and his team enough for the.
Yeah, we
the
appreciate
hard
the
work.
coordination. It's been a lot.
It's a major
It's a
upset to
big
the
one.
courthouse, I can assure you, but we're
That's
very
me, I don't have any windows.
happy with
Oh.
it.
It disrupted me, but it's great to be able to open a window. Like, my old windows couldn't open,
Okay, good.
so at least now if it's super hot in I can
If
like
the air
crack a
conditioner
window.
doesn't work.
Yeah, like if the AC doesn't work, you can crack a window, you couldn't do that in the past.
But we've been racing against that FEMA deadline to get as much done.
We all-
Yes.
We're trying.
But thank y'all for that, we really, the building looks amazing, so it's nice to see some progress after my 37 years there, to see something substantially getting done besides a roof that we never get to see. The fourth one is the grand hallway restoration. Request, this has been multiple times as well, request to restore historic vaulted ceilings and walls caused by moisture and high humidity levels. We want to be able to remove the contaminations of possible lead-based paint, restoration and conservation of failing plaster and ornamental details for the grand hall and other historic areas with some plaster work in several courtrooms. Repaint the historic ceilings and walls, it's about 12,000 square feet in the hallway. This project must be performed with little interruption to the daily operation of the system. We're gonna go right into, that one is 9.4 million. The next one kind of goes hand in hand with it. It's the Grand Hall HVAC system. We wanna be able to put some chillers and air in that hallway. 5 years ago, we did the restoration. We added the 2 courtrooms to the first floor. We took those from the 3rd floor down to the first floor courtrooms, what we refer to as 4 and 6. And by doing so, courtroom 5 was affected also. We had to take some space away. It gave us an opportunity to reconstruct some space in there, do some updates in courtroom 5. But since there's no ventilation in the hallway, the work that was done on the first floor has already started molding, and the paint has blistered, and it's because there's no climate control in the first floor. So, you know, to do something like the grand hallway, we're gonna have to address add an HVAC system, or else we're just throwing money behind money. So if, we're looking to add a 30-ton chiller system to the grand hallway, which would be the grand hall and first floor. Each end in the middle to install 30-ton with 3 air handling units. Install ceiling-mounted RA returns at the location, condensing units, 2 chiller water supplies, and return pumps and condenser water pumps. Obviously, the purpose of the request is to control the humidity levels in that hallway.
So it'd be best to do the HVAC first then, and then the rehab?
Yeah.
I would think so,
So
yeah.
maybe we need to change the priorities.
Okay, I'll
And-
jump those.
And because we have no, air in that hallway, if anybody, if you ever come in that hallway in July, the temperature outside is the temperature in that hallway. So like when jurors have to stand out in the hall to wait, or elderly people are coming in for cases, that hallway is brutal.
And conversely, in the wintertime, it's the exact
It's,
same.
yeah, luckily we don't get as cold, but it's hot. July and August, that hallway is miserable.
Justin, I was gonna see if you wanted to add anything about the wind retrofit project. Did you wanna add up anything? Give your 2 cents into the project manager, are we good?
For,
Any updates on that, are we good?
I think we're okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 6 is the jury parking lot security fencing. 2 parking lots are assigned to criminal court for jurors and court personnel. These 2 lots are located on the corner of Broad and Gravier, and then White and Gravier Street. We have 2. We're in constant battle with who owns those lots. I mean, we know that the city owns them, but they're designated for the court, not the DA's office, so we kind of go in a battle of whose spots they are, but we do allow the grand juries to park on the lot near them on Thursdays. Just because they meet in the grand jury and the DA's office, so they kind of think that they own that lot. But anyway, we're trying to get an 8-foot chain link fence between posts of 10 feet on center with 3.5 inch on scheduled 40-line posts, the knuckle fabric at top and bottom, install the top and middle rails, 12 inches by 8 inches, mow strips at grade. I hope you don't think I know what any of this means, I'm just reading from the script, so I can't tell you any more than what's on this piece of paper in front of me. Thank you for making me look like I know what I'm talking about sometimes. We want to repave the existing parking lots with 1.5 inch binder, 1 inch wearing course. Reset wheel stops and restripe. Add 2 gate arms at vehicular entry and exits. The entry gates to operate with a card reader. So we have a card reader in the basement, we want to be able to include that same reader connectivity on that gate. And obviously the goal is to provide a safer environment for jurors and court personnel that utilize this property.
It's nothing like being in the middle of a trial and having someone come up and say, your jurors need to go and check their cars because they're breaking into cars in the middle of a trial.
Right.
And I've had that happen on multiple occasions.
Between the criminal court building and the New Orleans Police Department.
Correct.
Right.
Number 7 is the replacement of the roof. So this is a new one, we just added that this year. We haven't had this one on in a couple of years, but I think we're getting to the point where we're starting to get the effects of some water infiltration in different parts of the building. So I thought it would be incumbent on me to go ahead and start asking for this now. So it's to replace approximately 55,000 square feet of existing roofing. The roof was replaced within a year after following the devastation of Katrina, which was about 21 years ago.
So the roof is, it's met its life.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've been up there multiple times.
Yeah, I have leaks now.
I just, looking at this and being up there, and then I had a meeting yesterday for the construction project. On the 3rd floor, we're having water infiltration that is running down the windows, which will fall down to the 2nd, to y'all's area. I'm kind of wanting to push this up, because 20 years the life warranty on that roof, and we're changing the skylights on it.
Right.
And the contractor's asking me, do we have a warranty on this? Can I just put any kind of roofing system back on top? So if you're okay with it, I would like to push this roofing up to protect the building.
If I have my suggestions, I want y'all to pay for everything on this paper right here.
Like
So
that,
if
that's
you want
what
to
it
move
is.
everything up, we're happy to accommodate you with that
Yeah,
request.
just the roof is.
I'm not gonna,
And then
yeah, I'm
once we
not gonna
develop
know that.
leaks, we develop mold.
Right.
Yeah.
So, we have the judges and I have like a little script, but some of the other things that were on here, if you could help me, I noticed that aren't on here because I was told that they were, and you can help me out, Justin, that they were.
Yeah, so I believe Kyle sent an email a few weeks back. It's, replace cast iron drainage pipes. I don't know why, no, maybe it's the other one, I'm trying to see.
Funded?
So that was funded through the bonds.
Okay.
So the jury room,
Right.
so the proposition that was approved in November and the fall included several projects for criminal district court, including the jury rooms, cast iron pipes, maybe one other?
Was it this?
Elevators?
The elevator was, yes. So that is why those projects didn't populate again.
Okay.
Okay.
The bonds, we've been going through the bond sale right now. It's gonna close in, next month, and the jury rooms is included in the first round.
So you know that, not to interrupt, but the jury rooms, the development part is done, and that's what, the Gandra is,
the
the
design.
Gandra is the project manager for that project. So the design phase is done, and it's just been shelved, waiting for the next.
That's why it's on this
Construction
first
funds.
sale,
Yeah.
because a lot of the facility projects that got selected were the ones that are shovel ready.
Good.
Because we already have designs, we
Right.
can just go out to bid, basically, might have to do some minor updates. So that is why the jury room was on that first round, and then the next bond sale is likely gonna be in 2028, and so we might look at design or, funding the whole, the rest of those projects. But then we'll do the final sale in 2030.
Okay, we have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Because we have one working toilet in the courtroom in the courthouse for pedestrians, and that is, a direct correlation with the cast iron drainage pipes. And if the health department were to come into criminal district court anytime in the next few days, we would probably be shut
It
down.
will be shut down. Yes.
So that's a problem.
We're working with property management, I mean, literally, what the judge was saying, in each public restroom, there are like, let's just say that there are 5, whether it's urinals or toilets, they're like usually a minimum of 5. There's one urinal working in maybe one toilet, it's not the handicap toilet, so the handicap toilets are out in most of the bathrooms. And what we're being told by property management is because there's the cast iron pipes of the building, or this is how they explained it to me, that they're rusting to closure. Does that make sense? Like they're rusted so much that they can't get augers and everything that they need to do to get them flowing. So they overflow, and what they do is they come in and they put a trash bag over them and they shut them down. So as the judges sit here are doing jury trials, they're calling for, 75 to 100 jurors up per court. So those 100 jurors, if they go to the court, there's usually one bathroom in a jury lounge, one's in the jury room. But when there's, 75 jurors waiting to go into our courtroom, they're gonna go to the bathroom, so now it causes delays. So those 75 people are trying to use the bathroom before they go into the courtroom, which there's only one operating toilet in each facility, each ladies and each man, so it causes a nightmare.
So would it be a priority to
So I
fund
think
that
that
before the jury rooms?
Yes.
Yes,
So
because
then
I'm
That's a
concerned.
good consideration, cause I don't think
Yes.
that,
Um,
we'll have to talk about that.
Yeah, guys, we probably have close to 1,000 people come through that courthouse every day, maybe more when you count defendants and family members. And I think we have, if you add them all up, maybe 5 working toilets right now.
Public toilets.
Public
Yeah,
toilets.
yeah.
I went to the one downstairs yesterday and it had.
All covered in plastic, yes.
And so we're concerned, because every now and then the health department will, or the fire department will come in and do a surprise inspection, and we're really worried if they were to come in under that circumstance, they may shut us down.
Well, thank you for sharing that information.
You're welcome.
And then I know that you mentioned everything except the building security cameras. Do you know that that's not on here?
So
but-
that's the going, so it would jump to cast iron pipes is 1. 2 would be the jury room in the Gendra project that's already in motion. I'm not really sure what, I think funding was pulled and will,
The construction money had been pulled, the design continued on,
yeah,
so that,
will be 2 on the burner now.
well, something is gonna get funded through this next bond sale. So if the cast iron is the priority, then we would just, we would have to consider whether we could do an amendment to the jury room contract to get a design more quickly done on this cast iron, so that could start and be able to spend the money within that 2 years. But, we would have to look at those opportunities, cause I think the cast iron was not as much money as the jury room estimate either,
Yeah, I'm not sure.
so.
So we'd have to jump straight into design and push the thing and spend the funds in 2 years.
Yeah, so I think the quickest way would be if we could do just either through existing contracts for design on the same building, we would say this is in the best interest to just add this cast iron to one of those contracts and then be able to get the design done quicker so that we can just go to construction and get it spec within, because, you know, we know how long it takes to procure an architect and a construction project, so we would have to consider those things to be able to get it spent within kind of that 2-3 year timeline.
We'll see how it plays out and talk to Jerry on how it.
Yes.
Got it. Okay, and the other two, going back was, the building security cameras would be 3, or the elevators would be 3, and then,
I mean, you know, one's a safety concern and the other one's a bigger safety concern.
yeah, I mean,
You know, I mean, we literally have to call a city to get people out the elevators that are stuck in the elevators. And I'm gonna turn it over to Judge Holmes now, because I know she's Nancy in her seat over there.
You would just think that everything in section D is going wrong. So I have one of the elevators that's been out, which hurricane was that?
Francine, was that a hurricane?
So that's
Francine?
24, 23, 24?
24.
So it's been going on.
they fixed that for me.
No, it's still out, and I guess the thing that worries me is we actually had an active shooter training in my section where NOPD came over and they did a reenactment of what would happen if someone came in, you know, to shoot. And they were like, oh, well, you have an elevator, so at least everybody can funnel into your chambers and then go down the elevator. And I was like, no, it doesn't work. And they were like, what? And so it hasn't been working. That's an issue. If something were to happen in my courtroom, we have no way to escape, like 0. There's no other egress. Then another issue is, one of the great things about having the elevators is that the judges, we don't have sheriff's deputies assigned to us, so we literally now, me and everyone who shares the elevators or who are similarly situated, we have to walk from our cars with the general public. We don't know who's the defendant's family, who's the victim's family, who's just a very upset person because they have something in our section. So those are all of the security concerns that having a working elevator prevent. But I am getting my steps in.
And I guess, you know, the elevator, is it an emergency? Yes, I guess, but I don't understand like why the city doesn't have, and I'm not trying to bash anybody or any departments, but why don't we have contracts on our elevators now? Like, you know, like I know if the elevator goes out, you know, we can call a guy, and the guy comes out and opens it up and lets people out. Like they put a ladder in and people climb out, and then nothing happens. That elevator's out of commission. The other day I got a picture where the elevator, somebody was in it, the elevator door, and you know, they're beautiful. It's a 100-year-old building. It's got these carved elevator doors that are really beautiful on the outside. They're a mess on the inside because the public and we just don't take care of things like we should. So the elevator opens up, but the inner door stays closed, but the outer door opens up, so you can see all the mechanics and somebody's stuck in there. And like, you think that we just had an elevator maintenance contract that would come out and address it, but it doesn't happen like that. So I feel like we do things until we break them, and then they're out of, like, there's no maintenance on things, and anyway, I don't want to get into it. But it's a property management thing, I suppose. I mean, I know I blame these guys for everything.
I'm not sure what Trey has on the property management.
He's broke, he's out of money.
He's in
Pat
a
answer,
hole.
Pat answer for every issue, whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is resources and just maybe a misallocation of those resources, you know? Maybe we should be spending more on maintenance so that we can, but, I mean, that's, from my understanding, has always been a historical issue. It's not nothing new.
No.
So,
Right.
at some point, the city's gonna have to acknowledge that if we want these brand new things to last, that they'll have to spend resources on it every year to make sure it lasts.
It's like the cleaning companies in the building. I mean, I think we probably have the same company, but, you know, every year the contract gets reduced and reduced and reduced, and the services get reduced and reduced and reduced, and, you know, it's a mess. Things are a mess, and, you know, I guess we get what we pay for. you know, we
Yeah.
going with the lowest bid and,
Some of the mayors, you know, through the ICC and some of her new initiatives, with committees have been looking at, well, how do we rethink funding sources for maintenance and for capital? So, the new administration has been looking at what is the solution for that. So that has been, kind of helpful to see that they have acknowledged that what we've been doing for years and years is not necessarily working.
right, and look, we can address some of that at our council here, you know, we go before the budget just like everybody else does, and
Yep.
we bring up all these issues every year, but it's a new administration this year, and hope we'll make some progress with it. Do you have any additional questions for us? I know these judges have to get back to the bench.
Not today, I don't have any more questions, thank you all.
Well, I just want to say on behalf of the Judge Lombard and Deputy Chief Holmes, we thank you for your attention and letting us present today. We appreciate, Justin, thank you so much for your, assistance with this budget. It's outside of my comfort zone, and we need to get stuff done, but we have, you know, we have another job to do. This is kind of like, we need to get this done and do our job, so we appreciate y'all time.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so much for
much.
listening to us, and thank you, Justin,
Thank you.
because you are in there, you know what we're dealing with.
I'm there every day, or every.
Yes, you've been doing a great job, thanks, guys.
I understand too.
And Larry has taken me up on this. Everybody's welcome to come visit.